Hey guys, Zeb Gattis with Atomic Guitar here. I want to take a moment today and I want to talk about the Nashville number system. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's probably one of the key, most important things that you could understand about music and songwriting, etc. Okay? I want to do this lesson based around the key of C major. For those of you who don't know, the key of C major is kind of the foundation for all of music. The reason why is because there's no sharps and no flats. So in every major scale, we have 7 basic notes. This is where maybe in grade school you remember, starting with C, you remember going C, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do, right? So there's 7 notes, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, and Do takes us back to the octave. Okay, so in the key of C major, and make sure that you go scroll down below and you'll see all the notes that I wrote out for you, because that'll really help you. And take notes of your own. If there's something else that I add in here that I don't have written down on the paper, make sure that you take notes of your own. But you're going to see that the 7 basic notes in the key of C are C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. And then we go back to C again. Okay, so basically what the Nashville number system does is it takes those notes and turns them into chords. Now, what's the difference? Just some common sense here for a moment. What's the difference between a note and a chord? Because that might confuse some beginners. A note is just a single note played, like C. A chord is a group of notes together that make up like a C major, okay? There's no such thing as major and minor notes. I see students get confused all the time in the beginning. They confuse sharps and flats with majors and minors. They're not the same thing, okay? It takes a chord, it takes a group of notes together to make something major or minor, okay? But we can also have sharp and flat chords. So we could have a G sharp major, right? An A major, A sharp major, B flat major. Same thing, okay? So, but then the single notes are just single notes. So let's take a look at the C major scale here real quick, and then we're going to talk about what the key is or what the formula is to turning those notes into chords. So here's your C major scale, just really basic. I'm going to start this up on the 8th fret of the 6th string. Hopefully, if you don't know this scale, I'll go ahead and tab it out and it'll be in the comments below as well. So here's the scale. I like to start with my middle finger. I always like to make sure that my students are playing with the correct fingers when we're playing things. So this goes like this. And there's just your basic C major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, okay, so basically the way this formula works is the one chord in every key is going to be major. The 2 chord is going to be minor. The 3 chord is going to be minor. The 4 chord is going to be major. The 5 chord is going to be major. The 6 chord is going to be minor. And the 7th chord is going to be diminished. Now, while I won't probably answer every single question you have in this video, I'm going to do my best to explain a lot of it. One of the first questions you might ask, well, what's the difference between a major and a minor chord? Well, we would have to get down into a little bit of theory, and we would have to talk about the structure of that, and I don't want to get into all of that just yet today. But I will tell you this, one of the first keys of ear training is that a major chord sounds very happy. Kind of makes you smile. A minor chord, you'll know it when you hear it. It sounds very sad, right? So there's just an easy difference. And basically in theory, if you want to get down into it, and again, I'm going to do a different video and I'll explain that, but we have a major third and a minor third, and that's what makes the difference between a major and a minor chord. So, but what I want to do is I want to talk about, again, the key of C. No sharps, no flats. C, D, E, F, G. And again, going back to the Nashville number system, the 1 chord is major, so C major, which would be here. The 2 chord then would be D minor. The 3 chord in the key of C would be E minor. The 4 chord would be F major. 5 chord would be G major. 6 chord would be, A minor. And the 7th chord, B diminished. And then back to the C. Now, instead of trying to go through the actual theoretical way of why one chord is diminished and minor, I want to do what I call Zeb Theory. These are easy shortcuts to understand why the 2, 3, and 6 are minor. Why is the 7th diminished? Why are the 1, 4, 5s major? Okay, so think of it this way. In a key, okay, we have 7, or well, we have more than 7, but we have 7 whole tone keys. In other words, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? We're in the key of C today. The key of C is the only key that we have that has no sharps, no flats. Okay? So somehow those chords, C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, somehow must be related to those notes, right? So here's some Zeb theory real quick. Let's jump to that C major scale. You're going to see this in my notes. C major scale. And if we start with C and skip a letter, bam, now we're to E. Skip another one, bam, now we're to G. So the notes C, E, and G make up a C major chord. So that makes sense why it would be C major. Because all 3 of those notes are within the C major scale. So there's a C major. Now we may be strumming 5 strings, but we're only playing 3 notes. C, E, G, C, E, right? Okay. Now we said the 2 chord was D minor. So let's start with D in that scale. If we skip 1, what do we get? F. Skip 1 again, A. So D, F, and A make up a D minor. And now we can understand why it's D minor, because all 3 of those notes belong in the C major scale. So if I'm playing a D minor chord, I've got D, right? Skipping on down, I've got my A. Over here, I got my D. And then here, it would be considered my minor third, which is my F, D minor. The 3 chord we said is E minor. So let's start with E. Skip 1, G, skip 1, B. So E, G, and B make up my E minor chord. Here's my E minor down here, down low. So if we take a look at that, E, we got the B, we got the E again. Here's the G, here's the open B, here's the open E. So all 3 of those notes are within the C major scale. Are you getting what I'm saying? The reason why some are major and some are minor is because they all share the same notes. So really, C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, and B diminished all have either C, D, E, F, G, A, or B in them. We don't have any other notes outside of that inside of those chords. Okay? Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the F. So if we take a look at the F and we skip F, A, C, right? F, A, C make up an F major chord. F, here's our F note. Here's our C. Here's our F. Here's that major third, right? The A that we need. And then here's, C. And then F again, because we have to bar for the F chord. Going into the G chord, we skip G, B, and D, right? So here's our G major. We got G, B, D, G. Now if you're playing G5, you're going to repeat the D. Or if you're playing just traditional G, it'd be open B, right? And then down to the G. It's our G chord. Okay, A minor, which is what we actually call the relative minor in this key. And I'll be doing a video specifically on relative minors. Very, very important to understand that. The 6th chord in every key names the relative minor. Okay? So, but if I'm looking at A and I'm skipping A, C, E, right? Zeb theory. Okay? Really easy to get. So now I've got my A, I've got my E, I've got my A again, I got my C, and I got my E. So A, C, and E make up A minor. Now let's jump to the last one. B diminished, right? So if we skip B, D, right? F. So B, D, and F are going to make up your B diminished chord. And again, there's lots of ways to play all these different chords. And you're not going to normally see that B diminished very often. You're going to see it more in jazz, some Christmas tunes, things like that. But rarely, I'm not saying not always, but if a song hits the radio, you don't hear the diminished chords very often. A lot of times, they're going to play slash chords. So I'm going to be doing all kinds of videos here. This one's about the Nashville number system, but I'm going to be doing videos on the relative minor, on slash chords and understanding those. So make sure you pay attention to those videos coming out as well. But again, this repeats itself in every key. So in every key, the 1, 4, and 5 are majors. The 2, 3, and 6 are minors, and the 7th is diminished. This really helps when you're picking out a song on the radio, because if you can determine what key it's in, then you're not looking around for 20 different chords. You have 6 basic chords that we're going to have, which is the 1 through the 6 degrees, right? So in the key of C, they'd be C, D minor, E minor, F, G, and A minor. I'll even go as far as to say this. Again, Zeb Theory, I have a little thing that I call the Fantastic Four, which is the 1, 4, 5, and 6 chords. Those are the most used chords in every song that hits the radio, because that's what our ear naturally just loves to hear. So if we're playing 1, 4, 5, and 6 in the key of C, that'd be C, F, G, and A minor, right? And probably the most common progression that we see in all of music is what I would call a 1, 5, 6, 4. That'd be C, G, A minor, and F. And if you look at these, all of this you should understand it from your notes. So once again, just to recap, key of C, no sharps, no flats. The C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Chords, Nashville number system, based off of those notes, C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished. Reason being, because all of our chords share the same notes as the C major scale. So I really hope this helps you understand not only the major scale, but the Nashville number system. It'll be really good for your songwriting down the road, and it's really great for your soloing. We're going to start talking about, I'm going to be doing more videos about opening up the fretboard and playing around chord structures. I see so many kids that have no idea, and they're even on the intermediate level, but they have no idea really what they're playing. They play all kinds of licks, but they don't understand why they're in the position that they're in. They don't understand that they're actually outlining a lot of chords and arpeggios when they are. An arpeggio is simply a broken chord. So watch for those videos too, but I really hope this one helped you. Feel free to comment if it helped you out, and I hope to see you guys soon. Thanks a lot.